Hi, I'm Mary O'Toole, and I want to share with you how I went from having this huge fear of dogs to having my own dog and loving my dog. You see, my whole life I had this huge fear of dogs. I would avoid dogs at all costs. I'd rather jump over a cliff than be near a dog. And when I was near a dog, I would have a physical reaction where my muscles would tighten up, where my throat would go dry, I'd be sweating. I had this real fear that showed up in my physical body. So for most of my life, as far as I can remember, this is how I reacted near dogs. Whether it was a friendly dog or a little more of an aggressive dog, whether it's a dog I knew or didn't know, I still would have the same reaction to being around the dog. And my husband loves animals, and he always wanted a dog, and I kept saying, no, I have this fear of dogs. And that was my story for a long time. I was buying into my fear of dogs until I became, I guess, tired of having this fear. And I didn't want to be this way. And it's a challenge to avoid dogs. There's a lot of dogs in the world. And it was a lot of work. And it was depleting having this physical reaction and fear when every time I saw a dog, whether it was coming near me or not, there was a dog in sight, I'd have the same reaction. So one day I remember I was out for a walk and there was a dog in the yard and it was fenced in and the dog started barking. And my reaction, of course, as usual, was to have this fear come over me and my body started to tighten, I started to sweat, my heart started pounding really fast. And I remember I stood there and for some reason unknown to me, I started having a conversation, internal conversation with myself, and I just said to myself, what would it feel like not to be in fear right now? What is the feeling of, say that I love a dog, pretend that I love a dog, or the dog is so friendly, and somehow, I still don't know how, I connected to the true feeling of loving a dog, or dogs are friendly, I like dogs. And it wasn't words, it was a feeling. It was that real feeling, and I connected to that somehow. And next thing, the dog that was barking at me stopped barking and walked to the other side of the yard and just ignored me. And I was amazed at that. And I started using that process with other dogs. Every time I'd come near a dog, I'd try to connect to that feeling, that same feeling that I love dogs. And the times where I said it to myself, I love dogs, but then I had this fear inside, it didn't work. But the times where I was actually able to really connect to that feeling, the dog would just walk away and not bark, just keep away from me itself. And it took a long time. Some days I could do it very easily, and other days it'd be a big challenge, but I kept working. I was committed to overcoming this fear. I was committed to changing my behavior or my fear around dogs. And it took me about a good year of really working on that feeling every time I saw a dog. And as I said, some days it was easy, other days it was not. It was like when you go to the gym to work out at first. You want to get into a good physical shape. And the first every couple of months you go, it's painful, you're building the muscles, you don't really want to go, it's more of an effort, and over time it becomes easier. Well, that's how it was for me, working on that internal feeling, that connection to overcoming that real fear that I felt around dogs. And then I started to notice that I didn't freak out or become really afraid when I saw dogs. I was calmer, and then I noticed over more time that I was able to come near dogs and pet certain dogs, and I was seeing progress until eventually it wasn't that big of a deal for me to be near dogs. And when we got our own dog, I was a little cautious. I wasn't still 100%. I was cautious, and over time that went away. And now I have this amazing relationship with my dog. I walk him, I play with him. Sometimes he will put my hand in his mouth, but it doesn't hurt. I'm not freaking out or afraid. I come near other dogs. I allow him to go near other dogs. So it's not this world that I lived in of being boxed away from dogs. It's very different for me. It's polar opposite. And I just wanted to share this story with you because it is possible to overcome fear. It is possible to make change where you find that you're being restricted or have limiting beliefs. It takes some work. You need to be committed to the internal work, to the internal shift or change that needs to happen within yourself. And I just wanted to tell you that you can do it. And I'm here to support you if you need any support, if you want to reach out, learn a little bit more about the process I used for myself in this story with dogs. And I'm using that same process in other areas of my life to help me overcome other things and other fears that I have. So feel free to reach out, Mary@thelightwithinwellness.com. But as long as you're committed and you're making that internal shift and change, you will get the results that you want if you're really committed to making that switch, making that change. So I hope this helped you, and I hope that you can stay committed to making the change you want. And again, if you need to reach out, contact me, Mary@thelightwithinwellness.com. Thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you soon.